Hello and welcome to another episode of Freedom Talks here. So, today we are discussing how to get back to you. So, if you are wanting to just really connect with yourself at a deeper level, if you are tired of giving everything to everyone else, then stick around because we're going to be talking about what hijacks your ability to connect authentically with yourself and really what you need to do starting right now, starting today, in order to really truly get back to you. So, hi, I'm Debbie Lichter, founder of Freedom Embodied Academy. And it is my absolute passion to help you to live free from whatever addictions or sabotage patterns are holding you back so that you can truly and authentically shine your light and light that path for other people. So let's dive in today because I actually, this past week, spoke with probably a dozen women who all told me some version of, I just want to be able to have time for me. I want to be able to connect with myself. And it's so beautiful because we actually, in those women who are in Freedom Embodied Academy, we're actually doing a time for me virtual retreat that's happening at the end of this month because, I'm so committed to supporting women around how to actually carve out what you can actually do in your day that doesn't add to the hours that you have to spend. Because I hear from women all the time and they're like, I know I should be more present and I know I should do these practices and I know I should meditate more, but I just don't have the time. I'm like, no. This is all about how you can, in the flow of your day, carve out more time for you. So I'm really excited about that. But I've been in this discussion with a lot of women. And so what I want to really dive in today are some of the top things that I see that really get in the way, that sabotage us and that really hijack us from getting back to ourselves. Because we can talk all day long about how we want to do that. But if we're still doing these patterns or thinking these thoughts, then we're really not able to. So the first one, and perhaps the most obvious one that I hear from women all the time is, I feel guilty. I feel guilty for taking time for me. I feel guilty for, just not putting other people before myself. So a lot of moms, a lot of caretakers. I speak with a lot of caretakers who have this coming up. And I totally relate to the aspect of feeling guilty. I grew up in whatever I internalized from my upbringing. I internalized the message that when you were doing something for yourself, it was indulgent, it was selfish, and that you really needed to put other people before you. And when I speak with a lot of women have this belief that they also grew up with, and it has just, carried over into our lives. But then what I find also is that we want to connect with ourselves and then we don't know how to, or then we don't even know who we truly are. And so I speak with a lot of wounded martyr women who are trying to do the right thing. They're trying to do the right thing, and they have a deep-seated belief that my happiness comes from being able to make those around me happy. And all that does is have us hooked into needing other people to respond to us or to validate something for us, or to for us to serve in a certain way in order for us to feel our own worth and value. And if you can imagine just energetically what that does to us, it literally hemorrhages power out of our bodies because we're just open. Our entire, core, our third chakra is just wide open, and we're just pouring out all of that, all of that light and all of that power and all of that love. We're just hemorrhaging it and leaking it everywhere. And so this aspect of feeling guilty or feeling selfish, I'm so passionate to really support women around reframing this. I spent an entire year in, daily asking in meditation, please teach me the difference between what is selfish and what is self-care. I didn't know. I truly didn't know because I had all that stuff backwards. And so what I'll just share for those who are listening to this, who are like, I kind of relate to that. What I will share is that self-care and taking time for you and just getting back to yourself at a deeper level and saying, all right, folks, it's time for me to step away and just be in this space right now. All of that is the highest form of service. It is the highest form of service. And I know we can kind of say cute little things like put on your own oxygen mask first. And, you know, we hear this stuff all the time. And as a martyr or a caretaker or someone who's caught in this pattern, we know those things, and yet we still are hooked into the pattern. And that's why ultimately, you know, I can say that self-care is that self-care is the highest form of service. It's not selfish, but ultimately, until each one of us, because this is what happened for me, until each one of us get free from that pattern, that pattern that has us hooking into that that external feedback loop and has us hooking into and hemorrhaging power, until we get free of all of that, then it is kind of hard to just like, oh, just shift that pattern. But I'm going to presence it here anyway, because it's a huge thing that hijacks and sabotages us from truly getting back to ourselves. Okay, so that is number one. Number two is this anxious energy. I'm totally guilty of this as well. So if you are guilty of this as well, then just put anxious energy or put, yeah, I get number two in the comments here. But anxious energy of I need to do something, like that tension and that stress that you get because you've got to do something. And so you're trying to be present, or somebody's talking to you and you really want to authentically connect with them, but at the same time, you are completely somewhere else. You are 5 steps ahead. You are already having another conversation in your head that's happening sometime in the projected future. And that constant feeling of like, just this one last thing. I'll be able to go and rest or read or relax just after I do this one thing. Let me just run these errands. After I just get these things off my to-do list, then I'll be able to relax. Anybody relating to that? Yeah. So this totally hijacks us. It totally hijacks us. And you know, in a few moments, I'm going to be talking about what to do instead. But for right now, I just really want to presence these sabotage themes and patterns, because if this is you, if you get caught up in this stuff, then, you know, it's all good and nice to say, I want to connect with myself. I really want to get back to myself. But we need to really get real about what those patterns are that have us completely doing the opposite thing. And the final sabotage pattern that really hijacks us from connecting us, and this isn't the final one, but you know, out of the top ones that I'm hearing on a regular basis from women and that I'm just seeing, is the I don't want to be alone with my thoughts. This is so big. Because, and this is really from those women who've done some inner work, who know enough to know that there's some uncomfortable stuff that lies under the surface, that in those still moments, in those quiet moments, when there isn't noise and chaos and distraction and busyness going around, when you're not putting out fires or trying to fix something or trying to get something under control, and you're just there in the quiet, that's when those thoughts come to the surface. And if you have some pretty negative thoughts about yourself, you're weak, it's never enough, no one's going to want you. The one that was always like ticker tape in my mind was, what's wrong with you? Like, why do you do that? What's wrong with you? Why can't you just be, why are you so much? What was wrong with you? Why can't you just be this way? You know, that was what I used to always, but what is it for you? Because this is what I find. And sometimes it's like, I don't even know what's there. It just feels so scary. And I've done such a good job of like sweeping under the rug or sweeping under the carpet for so long that I don't even want to know. But whatever that is, it has all this power for us. It just creates all this power, and we can go to great lengths to try and distract ourselves from all of that. So as you listen to these sabotage patterns, again, this is not to make you wrong. This is not to blame or shame. Just notice, does any of this stuff resonate? Are you clicking with any of these things? Do you recognize any of these patterns for yourself? And this is just an important piece, because what I really want to get into today with you is what to do to connect back with you. And the first thing that you want to do to connect back with you is you've got to get honest. You've got to get honest. You've got to get honest about what is going on, get real about what you feel. And so going through what we just went through, those various sabotage patterns, like maybe you relate to one or more of those patterns. And that's really important, because as we're getting honest, this is something that sounds so simple. And in my experience, it is one of the most profound things to do. And it's one of the things that we will get really slippery around doing. And I mean, I know for me personally, it took me a very, very long time. I lived in delusion for a long, long time before I really was willing to get honest. And I want to clarify that honesty is not being judgmental at yourself. It's not feeling humiliated or feeling ashamed or being negative or getting into your story about, I'll just never get, it's none of that. It's none of that. In fact, being honest is really an act of self-love. It's an act of, I'm willing to just be here, to get humble and to ask myself a simple question. What do I need to get honest about? And so I invite you to ask yourself that question. What do you need to get honest about? This is one of the foundational principles that I do with women when we begin Freedom Embodied Academy, because it is so, so vital. Because without this piece, we really can't build anything. We can't go anywhere. And so honesty, and oftentimes it's like, we need some support to be willing to get honest with ourselves. It's a big deal. But if you can surround yourself with some support, whether that's one person, that's a friend, that's a mentor, that's a community, it's a sisterhood, it is so, so valuable. And so getting honest is going to be the first laser-like way to really, really get back to you. And I invite you just to start with that simple question and just notice what comes up. Notice what you feel. Notice what that little inner voice starts saying to you, and really, really do not condemn yourself over it. Just get curious. Just get curious. The curiosity keeps you in the connection. The condemnation brings you into judgment, brings you into distance. It completely distances you from yourself. So that's the first thing, is to get honest. The second thing is to get out of your head and get into your body. You know that I speak about this a lot, getting out of your head and getting into your body. This is so, so important. I read a lot about all the advice. I'm always so curious, all the advice you'll give around, how to not be lonely and all this stuff. And it always is about going out and connecting with other people. And obviously it's always about connecting with other people. And sometimes those people who are really deeper will talk about connecting with a power greater than yourself, or connecting spiritually. You don't hear that so much in psychology today, but but some people will speak about that, because there is a deep, deep loneliness that happens when we are not feeling that connection to something bigger. But what I never hear is something that I'm about to share with you right now. What I never hear is, what about connecting in your own body? Because we live upstairs in the attic of this beautiful body temple all day long. And then we wonder why we feel so alone and disconnected. This is so, so important. As we are able to really bring our heads back on top of our bodies, connect with our bodies, and drop into our bodies and sense what we feel, it is incredible how much more we will actually feel like we are we are present and we are able to just be with ourselves. I remember having an experience. This was a year or two ago, and I was doing some of my evening ritual practices that I teach women how to do to really just at a physiological level connect with my body, to eliminate stuck stress, to get rid of chronic pain. And I was listening to some music, and I had candlelight. It was all very, I was like, it was a very, very nourishing and nurturing scene. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, tears burst from my eyes, and I started hugging myself, and I said, oh my God, I missed you. I missed you so much. I had no idea. And I was just hugging myself and crying. It was such an authentic moment. But in that moment, I realized that I have been so far away from myself, so far away from my body. And Thomas Merton says that what is the use of sailing to the moon if we cannot cross the abyss that separates us from ourselves, And so connecting in our bodies is such a profound, immediate way to connect with ourselves, to cross that abyss and connect with ourselves. So this, I have many, many tools and practices. Again, if you struggle in this area, a lot of folks who I talk to struggle in this area, and you do not have my 5 top presence practices, just put presence in the comments. Hi, Li-Ling, so good to see you. And it would be wonderful. I would be happy to send that to you. Because this is a really, really important piece that I want you to have, is to get into your body and be comfortable inside of your body. And I know that we all have varying degrees of that. Some of us have pain, we have trauma, we feel awkward, we have varying levels of disconnection. And so it's really, really important to meet yourself where you are. And this is why when I'm working with women one-on-one, I can really support them in meeting them exactly where they are right now, and guiding them on how to go from here down into a more embodied, safe experience in here, where they actually feel like they can exhale and relax and take it easy and be okay and feel safe. And so if that's something that you are really on a passionate journey to explore more in 2019, again, just put, just put one-on-one in the comments, and let's you and I connect, because there's ways that I do that live and in person. There's ways that I do that virtually. And I'm so passionate about that process that I would love, love, love to support you in that. So just put one-on-one in the comments, and we can get in contact. I'll contact you, and we can set up a call and talk more about that. So the final one, hi Crystal, so good to see you. The final piece here that I really want to share with you is to get free from what is blocking you from your inner guidance. This is so big, because if you really, really want to get back to yourself at a deep and authentic level, then it is critical that you actually get free from the things that are weighing heavy on your heart, from the things that have you hemorrhaging power, from the things that have you self-betraying, that you can really truly have that. I was speaking with one of my colleagues out in the UK just this week, and we were talking about intuitive eating. And she said, Deb, it's like people talk about, oh, just intuitively eat, but most of the people that I talk to are not connected to their intuition. And I said, I agree 100%. Because if you think about it, intuition, your sixth sense, is happening up here. But if you have stuff that's weighing heavy on you right here, and you're hemorrhaging at your core, and you're self-betraying left and right, you're caught up in people-pleasing and trying to prove yourself, and then even deeper than that, you're just feeling awkward and uncomfortable in your own skin, and like whatever you do is just not the right thing, and you don't belong, and all this stuff's going on inside, then we can't authentically connect to that intuitive guidance. It's just we've got too much incongruence happening inside here. And so what we need to do is we need to just get free from that stuff. And that doesn't mean we've got to slave away for the next decade in therapy trying to work on ourselves, because that is not how that works either. Absolutely. I mean, this is why I love the process of teaching women embodied freedom, because there are next level tools that actually lead you along a path of more ease and more fun and more joy. And of course, it comes with getting real and raw and honest and having all this stuff. But, you know, as I just spoke with a client yesterday, she said, you know, getting honest was the toughest thing, but it actually felt really, really good. It felt so good. And I said, yeah, because getting honest is a congruent thing. Everything we're talking about is congruent. And even if what you're doing is scary, and even if what you're doing is challenging or is having you look at stuff that you are afraid to look at, as soon as you make that congruent action, as soon as you take that aligned, audacious action step, it actually feels good inside you, because your soul says, thank you. Thank you for doing that. Because it feels so peaceful and harmonious inside when you do something congruent, when your head, your heart, and your gut are all on the same page together and they're in harmony and they're not in conflict. It feels so good. That's how we get that feeling of ease and comfort inside of ourselves. That is how we are able to just see addictions and obsessions and self-sabotage patterns fall away, because we have come to a place of ease and comfort and congruence and connection inside of ourselves. And so here's what's so beautiful. We're talking today about how to get back to you. But this is also everything we're speaking about, and getting back to you is going to allow you to trust yourself more deeply, to feel more authentically confident, to feel more comfortable in your own skin, right? So that you can put yourself out there, you can shine your light, and you can just simply be you. And how many of us just want to be able to simply be ourselves and be okay being ourselves and know we're going to be okay no matter what? Those things are so, so important. And the stuff that we've talked about here today can really, really help you with that. Lindsay, absolutely. I will get you that presence practice sheet. It's a quick reference sheet. It's super easy, and I would love for you to have that, absolutely. So again, here we have it. You know, we have these sabotage patterns, and we have these really, really profound ways to get back to you. And this is the stuff, I mean, this is the stuff that I teach in Freedom Embodied Academy. This is the stuff that I teach women one-on-one. If you feel guided, you want to dive deeper, you want to know more about what working with me one-on-one looks like, if you want to find out what that hands-on experience is of really posturally learning in your system, to internalize in your system what connecting physiologically, posturally, neurologically actually is for you, so that you can spiritually align more deeply with the authentic you that is here to shine your light, then just put one-on-one in the comments. Would absolutely love to talk to you more about that. And we still have a little bit of space in Freedom Embodied Academy. And this is the last month that we are actually accepting applications. And so if you are feeling guided to really step in deeper this year with an incredible group of women, who some of whom are on this video today. Well, they're not on the video. Well, I am in the group, but they are watching the video today. And this is really to be with an intimate group of like-minded women as you really dive deeper into getting free from whatever addictions or sabotage patterns are holding you back, whether that's addiction to busyness or people pleasing or food or obsessing or creating chaos, and getting free from that stuff. Really, really coming back to a place of ease and comfort inside, and then being able to authentically shine your light from that place, truly feeling comfortable in your own skin and shining your light from that place. That is what Freedom Embodied Academy is all about. And if that inspires you, then just put Academy in the comments and let's get connected. We can talk more about that. and see if it's the right fit for you. So thank you again for taking this time out. It's always such an honor to be here with you. I'm so glad for those of you who tuned in live. And for those of you who are catching the recording, please do make your comments, because I will go back and I will look at this, and I still am here to serve you in any capacity. So thanks again for tuning in. I'll connect more with you next time. Bye for now. Mwah.